Hello Stampers, Kelly Acheson at stampingup.com coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin in the United States. Welcome to the video for the Totally Techniques blog hub today. Our technique that we're featuring is faux linen, and I haven't done this in so long. I had so much fun with it. I am also giving you guys a sneak peek of some brand new products. I have the detailed leaves and the falling leaves stamp set here that I'll be using today. I've got this card I'm going to show you how to make and show you how to do the technique. Then I've got another card that uses the same technique but in a different way, also using the stamp set. And I have always been a sucker for leaves. I love these funky leaves. They're a little bit unusual. I love the font in this Falling for Leaves set. And this does come in a bundle. The detailed leaves thinlits, and here's one of the things that I just die cut, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we've got this die cut here. Is that not gorgeous? I'm going to be using this on one of the inside of the card, so I'll let you see that too. It's also got this framelit, so this cuts this out but doesn't cut this edge off, right? But we also have a framelit that you can use to cut that edge off if you'd like to, and just get a ribbon of this beautiful intricate design. But there's a lot of dies in here, some really neat patterns. I love this leaf, of course. I've got some more cards that I've made with this also that I'll be sharing in the near future. So please make sure that you're clicking down here in the bottom right corner to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because you won't miss anything I have coming up when you do that. All right, I think we should get started. I always like to bring in my cardstock layers first. I am using a piece of tissue paper, and that's what you need for the faux linen technique. And my tissue paper is going to be bigger than the layer I'm going to put it on. So this is about, let's say, 6 by 5 1/4 or so. It just needs to be bigger than the layer you're going to attach it to. And then I decided to use a patterned piece of Designer Series paper. And this is the Country Home Designer Series paper. It is absolutely gorgeous with these rich fall colors and patterns in it. And I thought it would be perfect for my Falling Leaves card, because I love all these colors together. You've got Blackberry Bliss, Mint Macaron, Crushed Curry, and isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I can't hardly wait to use that pattern. Some pumpkins, some more, this is cotton on Mint Macaron, some more Crushed Curry. It is absolutely beautiful. So that's where my Designer Series paper is coming from. Now, most of the time when you do a faux linen, you do it totally different, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. But I decided to take it to a different level, and instead of stamping on my tissue paper, I'm just going to do the faux linen technique with some Designer Series paper. Okay, so this is 5 by 3 3/4. I've also got a piece of our adhesive sheets here, and this is also 5 by 3 3/4. Another piece of the Designer Series paper that is a 1/2 inch, and it will be cut down to 5 1/4. I've got a piece of rich raspberry here that is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, an envelope, and a piece of Crushed Curry that is just a tiny bit larger than 3/4 of an inch by about 2 or so. We're going to cut that down too. And then I almost forgot to bring in my inside layer. This is Whisper White at 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, so let's do this technique first. I am going to take my adhesive sheet and attach it right to the front of my Designer Series paper. Now, little tip. When you're cutting out your adhesive sheets, you get 12 of these, by the way, in a whole pack, and I do sell these. When you're cutting these out, the first one that I made, I cut it down to 5 by 3 3/4. Well, that was silly. I should have left this peel edge on there. So then I cut this one out at 3 3/4 by 5. Do you see what I mean? Instead of cutting it out over here where I'm not going to get that peeling edge, cut it out over here, and then I just will save this for something else. So that's my little tip for the day, because it was something that I did that it was like, oh, that wasn't very brilliant. Okay, now you can just peel this right off. Your sticky part is on here. So I'm going to take this and put it face down on my side of my designer series paper that is going to be showing on my card front. And just try to line it up the best you can. Sometimes we can't be perfect about that stuff, and it doesn't, there's no forgiveness here with these adhesive sheets. So just do the best that you can. If you need to, you can bring your pokey tool in here, and I'm just gonna peel this back a little bit and peel off that little strip and then seal that up. Now, another thing I learned about using these adhesive sheets, you wanna make sure that they are pressed down really good. So give it a good press with your hands. And then I'm gonna use my pokey tool again here to start peeling up this edge, okay? Now, once you peel this off, this is all sticky. So don't lay it on anything. Don't lay anything on top of it. We're gonna get to work with our tissue paper. And it was kind of a little funny story because I know I have tissue paper in my house someplace and I cannot find it anywhere. I went searching in the basement, I went upstairs in a storage closet, and my tissue paper has probably disappeared with one of the kids. So, delightfully detailed laser cut specialty paper to the rescue from me today, because in between each one of these sheets in here with this gorgeous paper is a piece of tissue paper, and that's exactly what I pulled out to use. So, stampers, we're resourceful, right? I know. Okay, so what you're gonna do here is you're just gonna crumple up your tissue paper. Now remember, tissue paper is delicate, so you don't wanna get too rambunctious with it. That's probably a good way to put it. But you want it to have some nice wrinkles in it. And then you're going to kind of spread it back out, but you don't want to get rid of all the wrinkles, so don't push it down or anything like that. Now I'm going to bring in, remember my sticky sheet is on the front here, I'm going to bring this in and I am going to just now push it down. And notice that I'm not trying to smooth it out, I'm actually making sure that I have wrinkles in it. I'm not pushing it out like this. I want those wrinkles because that's what your faux linen technique is all about. I hope you can see this in the camera. It's just so very interesting. It's a very interesting look. Okay, maybe you want to cut your tissue paper a little bit longer because this is kind of skimpy. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my tape runner. You can use your tape runner or you can use tear and tape, glue maybe, but glue is going to kind of seep through your tissue paper, and that might be a little messy. So that's why I kind of stayed away from the glue on this side. But I'm just going to put some tape all the way around the edges, and now we're going to fold them in, kind of like you're wrapping a present, right? Just fold those in. You want to make sure that you're tucking your corners over. I'm just going to use my tool here to give me a little hand with that, because for some reason my fingers have been not working well for me today. And again, I'm just going to put a little bit more tape on top of this tissue paper in the corners so that I can get that tucked under there really good. And let's see, we're going to try to turn these corners in, but that's not going to work real well because I cut it too small. So, okay, I think I did pretty good here. So this is what our faux layer looks like. Here, I think it goes this way. So now what I'm going to do is bring in my crushed curry layer, and I think I forgot to tell you guys you need a crushed curry layer, so I'm sorry about that. Now, with this crushed curry layer, we are going to be adding a couple die cuts to the front of this card. So you could die cut this leaf image right out of the middle of it and cover it up with this layer. In my case, I don't need to because I've already die cut this particular image. So I am going to use my liquid glue and I'm going to attach my faux linen layer right to the front of this piece of crushed curry. Oh, and I think this is cut bigger than my sample too. I'm on a roll today. It's okay, it'll be fine. And then we are going to fold our Blackberry Bliss in half. Burnish that edge good. So that's ready to go. And now we're going to bring in our white layer and we're going to do a little bit of stamping. So I've got the Thinking of You with a Grateful Heart, and then I'm going to add a little bit of glue down here at the bottom so I can put in this beautiful designer series paper that's just a little something on the inside of our card. And I am a firm believer that the party shouldn't end when somebody opens your card. So do a little bit to decorate those insides. Just adds that little bit of extra. We'll get this in our card. Okay, we're ready with that. Now I'm going to take this faux linen layer and we're going to add some embellishments to it. And one thing that I always think goes with fall cards is linen thread, of course. I'm going to do just a little bit of tape on the back to hold this in place. Just like that. And then I'm going to wrap this around here 3 times. Let's see if I can move my thread over here. 2, 3. And now, rather than tying it in a bow on the front, I want my bow to be pretty substantial rather than just a single bow. So I'm going to show you a neat little way to do that. Okay, so there's our cool linen thread. And then I've got 3 pieces of linen thread here that are 8 inches each. And I'm going to bring in my bow jig. And if you have never seen this, this is how it works. I'm taking all 3 pieces, I'm crossing them over, bringing the bottom one up and over and under, up and over and under, and then you just tie it in a single knot and you get a perfect bow every time. Now, my friend Denise sells these. Her husband makes them for her. If you'd like to get your hands on one, let me know. You can pop me an email at kelly@astampabove, and I will forward your information to her. She'll contact you about them. They're super, super nice. If you want to make your own, let's bring that back in here. If you want to make your own, it's nothing more than 2 holes drilled 1 inch apart and then 1/2 inch on each side of that. Super simple. So I'm just going to take a mini glue dot here and add it to the top of my baker's twine, if I can get it, my linen thread. There we go. And I'm going to put that right there. And then I've already die cut this large leaf from the thinlits. I am going to add just a little bit of glue to the back of my leaf and maybe some of these bigger areas because this is pretty intricate. I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to put my leaf, just tuck it right down in under here, just like that. Here comes our crushed curry leaf, and I'm going to kind of just do the same thing. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to some spots in there, tuck that right under here. Oops. There we go. I want this back over here. There we go. Okay. Get those all stuck down, and then we have one more thing to do. Did you guys see where that little piece of crushed curry cardstock went? There it is. I have a little bit of stamping to do on this piece. There's a pretty little thankful in the stamp set, and I'm just going to stamp that right on this layer. And then we're going to trim it down a little bit, however long you want it to be, to make it look nice. And then I'm just going to come in and make a banner end, or flag the end, as some people like to say. Then I'm going to use some of my mini dimensionals. And I'm using mini dimensionals because if I put one big dimensional in the middle of this, it's going to be sitting on my linen thread. And things just don't work out good that way. So I'm putting mini dimensionals right here so that that linen thread isn't going to be what they're sticking to. I don't want my banner to fall off. This is just a way to guarantee that I'm going to get some paper surface under this. I'm going to lay that right here. There we go. And here comes our card front with that beautiful faux linen. Now, do you want to see the other one? The other way, I should say, to do this. I'm going to bring in another piece of tissue paper, and we are going to stamp on this tissue paper. And this is the way that this faux linen technique is usually created, is by stamping on tissue paper. But as I got to looking around to see what I had, I thought, you know what? You could get tissue paper that already has a design on it, and you could make cards with that, with the faux linen technique. You could use colored tissue paper. You could use a variety of colors to stamp on it. It doesn't have to just be one color. And I just got a little bit, one more little thing to fill in right there. Okay. Then you're going to let this dry a little bit, because remember, this is not cardstock. Tissue paper can sometimes have a little bit of a sheen on it, and it's a little bit less porous, which means it won't dry as quickly. But once you've allowed this to dry, you're going to crumple it up. And again, don't be too rough with it. If it tears, don't freak out, because you can push it together when you put it down on your adhesive sheet. Okay, once we have this done, for the next card I'm going to show you, I actually used crumb cake as my base instead of designer series paper or white. So you can use any color you want. And I would put my adhesive sheet on here. This one's just a little sample to show you this. And you can see that that ink was not dry, right? So you want to make sure that you allow it to dry. For purposes of our video, I didn't really have time to do that. You want to make sure you let it dry, or you could hit it with the heat tool to help it dry faster. But then I just took and smushed this down on some crumb cake cardstock, and here's what I came up with. I have a layer of a very thin 1/8 inch layer of Blackberry Bliss. I used a crumb cake card base. I wrapped some twine around here and secured it on the back of my 1 inch banner. I stamped the thinking of you with a grateful heart. And then I put a little heart down here. And I got that from our cookie cutter punch. There's a little heart in there. Any little heart will do. This layer is from the Stitched Shapes Framelits die, the second from the largest circle. Are you ready for the inside? Because it's pretty cool. Look at that. That's that die that's in the Detailed Leaves Thinlits. And I just put a piece of Blackberry Bliss down here, and then I die cut it on the white to make a very fancy inside for this card. Okay, you guys, here's both the cards that I made. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new. I always love it when I hear from you. Leave a comment on my YouTube video. Click the like button. That always helps me out. You can go right up here to order any Stampin' Up! Supplies from me. We've got a brand new holiday catalog coming out, and that's where these Falling for Leaves and Detailed Leaves Thinlits are coming from, and the Country Home paper. So brand new holiday mini catalog. That starts on September 5th. You can get your hands on this bundle. Now, if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you would like a copy of the holiday mini catalog, I'd be happy to send it to you. Just pop me an email at kelly@astampabove.com and I can get that out to you right away. Don't forget to click right up here. That'll take you right to my blog. You'll be able to see all the measurements for these cards that I've made here, photographs, and ordering links right to the products that I use. Remember, the new stuff won't be available to order until September 5th. Click down here to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You don't want to miss anything I have coming out. I also have online classes you'll find on my blog. My blog can be found at www.astampabove.com. Online classes are a lot of fun. They're exclusive projects. Each one comes with its own video, and it's like you can watch it anytime in your pajamas and feel like you're taking a class with me. I'd just like to thank you guys for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend with me. Bye-bye.